very competitive, this coxed fours event, and there'll be some very good athletes in this.
So on the far side in lane 1, New Zealand didn't compete in this last year. In lane 6, they were 4th. Just the coxswain Gianluca Baratolo returning in their heavyweight coxed 4. So just the rundown from the top of the picture. Furthest away New Zealand, 2 from the top France, then Great Britain in the white and blue boat, then United States in the dark boat, in yellow Germany, and at the bottom of the picture are Italy.
Stern pair of the British boat were gold medalists last year in this event, and they are back with 2 new men behind them. James Livingston, who rode the boat race for Cambridge this year, and Richard Edgington at 2. Cox is Pete Rudge. But out in front here, United States have gone out in front, and it's Lucas McGee in the stroke seat there, who rode for Oxford last year against 3 of the men in the British 8 who were all Cambridge rowers, and there'll be a little bit of a grudge match here between the 1 Oxford man up against the 3 Cambridge men in the boat next door to them. And they are the 2 favourites here. These are the 2 crews that really should be contesting this final later on up the course.
United States, who twice won the title in the 90s. French, always interesting when they put in a crew. Dan, they won this a couple of years ago ahead of Italy and Great Britain. So not to be discarded lightly, but it is the Americans who've got the advantage. And just beyond them, the French actually in lane 2, with Great Britain just about in 3rd place there. And then New Zealand, and then the 2 crews on the near side, Germany and Italy, with a little bit of catching up to do already.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's at 36 strokes a minute there. The United States sitting up well, moving very well indeed. And interesting with the United States, in the non-Olympic events, they seem to be doing extremely well. In the Olympic events, they haven't really made the finals on day 1, and on day 2 they have their 8, who will be contesting the last event of the day, and their women's 8 as well. But here, certainly, it's the United States in this coxed fours event leading France as they come up to 750 metres.
Just thought, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, Dan, about the American or the United States system here, whether it actually is the best system in, achieving those Olympic qualifying places, because what it means is that they now have to try and use the remaining regattas next spring to get Olympic qualifying boat, which means a double peak, if you like.
Well, some of them qualified already, although in the small final, the B finals. So they have qualified for the Olympics, which is better than 4 years ago when they failed to qualify in this qualifying regatta, the pair and the 4 in the men's events. But it just seems that they do tend to leave their selection process quite late in the day, and that's really because they're waiting for their students to finish with their college racing in June before they actually join the national team. But here they are looking very good indeed. McGee stroking that boat, certainly going to lay down the stern pair here, certainly laying down claims to be included in the Olympic squad for Athens next year.
And just to emphasise how good a start this is for the United States, the 2 men in the bow there making their senior debuts at the World Championship, so this is very encouraging.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it is very much, as I say, a good grounding for aspirant internationals. First time out, this is a good way to get started. And the 2 men in the British boat, Richard Edgington, it's his first outing as well at international level.
And to be fair, we could look right the way across the lanes here and we'd find youngsters being blooded for the first time. The Italians also with a relatively inexperienced group of young 20, 21, 22-year-olds.
That said, remember that they've probably been competing at under 23 level and at junior level internationally as well. So there's some pretty experienced athletes already with good competition behind them. But here's now Britain beginning to push on. Very, very aggressive stroke there. They're sitting up, they're now making their attack, and they are moving back on the United States. Stroke man there, Stallard, pushing his crew along now at 38 strokes a minute, trying to get back on terms with the United States.
Well, the British have got the experience, Dan. Kieran West, of course, an Olympic gold medalist with the British 8 in Sydney, brings an awful lot to that boat.
Interestingly, last year, Kieran West was sitting in the stroke seat of the British 4. He's now back at number 3, sitting there behind Tom Stallard.
Germany in third place ahead of France, New Zealand, and Italy still stuck at the back of the pack, and Germany not that far ahead of the French, and the French, as ever, known for a fast finish, so we need to watch out for that. But meanwhile, look at the British now, Dan, really throwing it down to the Americans now. We're in the business end of the race, the last quarter now. Now, can these Americans hold on? They've done everything correctly up to this point, but can they hold the British charge?
Well, here come the British, and that is a great recovery there. United States holding on, and this really is the crunch point here, because the British have a great reputation for fast finishes. They've got the experience there. The United States haven't been together quite so long, and so the likelihood there really is that they could falter. But Luke McGee at stroke there is pushing them on now. They've gone up to 38 strokes a minute, trying to hold off the British four. Matt Stallard in the stroke seat, and now there's only really 2 feet in this. This is a great finish between these two crews.
What a way to open the final day of the regatta now. Great Britain on the far side there. Peter Rudge really urging his men to find that little bit of extra, but every time he asks the question, Marcus McElhenney for America asks his men for a little bit more, and he's getting it now, and the Americans are holding the British. In fact, they're just pulling it out as they come towards the line, and it is a victory for the United States of America. That's their 3rd gold medal of the regatta. A brave attempt there by the British to hold on to their title, and crossing the line in 3rd place, Germany ahead of France, who couldn't close the gap. New Zealand and Italy last to finish. Well, that's an extremely good debut there by this American crew. 132.16, putting Great Britain in contention during the 3rd quarter, but the United States tough and strong in the final 500, 131.64 to earn their gold medals. And those gold medals to Marcus McElhenney, the coxswain, to Brian McDonough, to Matt Deakin, and then Jason Flickinger. And finally, it'll be Lucas McGee to receive his gold medal from Anita de France, the Vice President of the International Rowing Federation.